Hello and happy Thursday. So before I jump into the lesson today, the punctuation marks worksheet answer key. So the answer key from yesterday's homework is posted under that assignment. So you guys can feel free to go edit your work and all of that kind of stuff. And that'll be the last set of worksheets that you have to edit for extra credit. So I am going to post the extra credit assignment on Google Classroom, and I will post that under the grammar topic, just so it's somewhere neutral. So I will not post the extra credit under one of the e-learning days. I'm going to post it under the grammar topic. So that's where I want you to upload all of your extra credit. Okay, so we're going to jump into our lesson for today. Today is a pretty basic review. We're going to be talking about a couple of different rules with capital letters, numbers, abbreviations, and then we're going to really quick talk about homonyms. So it's pretty basic general information, but probably some stuff that's good to have a little bit of a refresher on. So we will dive right in with capital letters, and as always, this is a Pear Deck. And so, my lesson wasn't posting yesterday, but if it posts, I will post the Pear Deck link for you guys so you guys can kind of go through the Pear Deck and the answers at your own pace. All right, here we go. So we're going to start with capital letters. There are a few rules that you guys need to know with capital letters. Obviously, we capitalize the first word in any sentence. Okay, that one you guys know. Make sure you guys capitalize the word I in people's names. Again, you guys know that. You capitalize names of specific places and institutions and languages. Okay, so like O'Gorman High School, let me get my little pointer here. Okay, there we go. O'Gorman High School is a specific place, so we would capitalize that whole thing. It's also technically an institution, and then Spanish is a language, so we would want to capitalize that, and English is actually a language as well. So anytime you refer to your English class, you should capitalize English. Oh, I can't see that at the bottom. What is it? Let's wait for this bar to go away. So annoying. I go to high school. Okay, yeah, I wanted to point out that since we're not referring to a specific high school that we're going to, we wouldn't have to capitalize high school in that last sample sentence down there. But when we refer to the specific name of a high school, like O'Gorman High School, then we would capitalize it. So just kind of be aware of that. So we also capitalize product names. So anytime you're listing the exact name of a product, you want to make sure it's capitalized. So like you have an example there, like you use my Nikon. However you say it, that camera, okay, it's a brand name, so we want to make sure we capitalize it. And then also Kellogg's Rice Krispie Treats, that's the name of the product, so we capitalize it. Capitalize calendar items. So anytime you have the name of a day, month, or year. So Easter falls on a Sunday in April. Is that true? Yeah, I think that's true. Okay, so we capitalize the name of the holiday, the name of the day, and the name of the month. We know this. And then titles of larger works like books, movies, magazines, TV shows, even smaller works like article titles and stuff like that. You want to capitalize titles. So I've got The Great Gatsby there. Now, one note on this. You do not capitalize any articles or prepositions that are in a title unless it's the first word. So like we capitalize the of The Great Gatsby because it's the first word in the title. But if it were like the middle word in the title, if it was like Gatsby or Great the Gatsby, okay, then we would not capitalize the word the. But since it's the first word, it does need to be capitalized. We also capitalize names of specific groups, races, religions, nationalities, companies, clubs, and any other sort of organization. So here would be an American example of this. Words are hard today. Edward, who is a Polish American. Okay, so this would be a race, Polish American, so it needs to be capitalized. Sometimes cooks Chinese dishes. So Chinese is also like a race and a nationality. So even though it's referring to the food, it still needs to be capitalized. For his Northside Chess Club meetings, okay? And this would be a club or organization, so that needs to be capitalized as well. We also want to capitalize names of specific periods or famous events in history. So like during the Middle Ages. Only a notability could read and write. So Middle Ages is the name of a specific time period. So we would want to make sure to capitalize that. And like famous events in history, names of any sort of war or like natural disaster would want to be capitalized. You also capitalize common abbreviations. So like, for example, FBI, YMCA, that kind of stuff. Those are all going to be capitalized as well. And you want to capitalize names of specific school courses. So like Dance 101, General Psychology, Economics 235. Those are specific courses, like English 3, English 2, that kind of thing. All of those need to be capitalized as well. And then I think this is my last capitalization rule. So words, this one's a little bit more complicated, so pay attention to this one. But words that are used to substitute the name of a family member. Okay, so like if you're not saying their name and you're just substituting their name with like mom, grandpa, father, uncle, aunt, stuff like that. And words like aunt, uncle, and cousin need to be capitalized if they come before a name. Okay, so if they're substituting for their actual name, it needs to be capitalized. And if they come before their real name, it needs to be capitalized. So here are some examples. Mom is an amazing actress. So instead of saying the name of your mom, if you just say mom to stand in for her real name, it needs to be capitalized. And then here's another example. When Aunt Cindy laughs, you can't help but smile. Okay, so we have the word aunt before my aunt's actual name, so it does need to be capitalized. If the family member comes after a possessive, so this is like one exception to the rule, it should not be capitalized. So for example, my mom is my biggest fan, or my mom is an amazing actress. Okay, if we have the possessive my before the word, then it's no longer capitalized because then it's just showing ownership and it's not referring to the name of the person. Okay, so this is basically substituting like the name of the person. Now, so a little tip for you guys, if you can replace the family member with the person's actual name, then it should be capitalized. So for example, this first one up here, mom is an amazing actress. Well, I could replace mom with my mom's name, Vicky, right? Vicky is an amazing actress. That makes sense. But if I tried to replace this mom with my mom's name, my Vicky is my biggest fan, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so just kind of like use that tip. If you can replace the family member title with their actual name, then it should be capitalized. If you can't replace it with the family member title, then if you can't replace it with their name, then it should not be capitalized. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. Oh, I had more. I'm sorry, I lied to you. Anytime you open and close a letter, you need to have capitals. So like, dear sir, sincerely yours. And notice in the signature, this is called the signature, you only have to have the sincerely capitalized, not the yours. So yeah, okay, that's the note. Only the first word of the closing is capitalized. And do not, this is just a little note, do not capitalize names of seasons unless they're the first word of the sentence. So autumn is my second favorite season, but summer is my first. Okay, so we only capitalize autumn here because it was the first word of the sentence, but typically you do not capitalize the names of seasons. Okay, here's some practice. So there are 2 words in this sentence that need capitalizing. So again, if you want to pause me and go try it on the Pear Deck and then come back, I'm going to talk through the answers right now. So the 2 words in this sentence that need to be capitalized are civil and war, okay, because it's referring to a specific event in history. This one, we have 2 specific names of classes, English 252 and Chemistry 101. So both English and chemistry should be capitalized. This one, again, is similar to the first example. Harlem Renaissance is a specific period of time. So Harlem and Renaissance should both be capitalized. This one is a little bit tricky, okay, because you may look at this and say, oh, well, grandfather has to be capitalized because it comes before John. But remember, that rule only applies to aunt, uncle, and cousin, okay, because again, here, if we try to replace grandfather with his name, like my John was born, right, it just doesn't make sense. So this one does not need to be capitalized because a possessive comes before it. What needs to be capitalized here is auto and workers. Okay, because that's referring to the specific name of the organization, the United Auto Workers. So that's what needs to be capitalized in this sentence. This one, we need to capitalize shepherd because German shepherd is the proper name of the type of animal we're talking about. And then we also need to capitalize dad here because dad is substituting the name of the dad, right? We could replace that with an actual name, but Ivan just does not like her. That's the name of my dad. Okay, but yeah, so that one needs to be capitalized as well for that reason. And that's the end of capitalizations. Now we're moving on to numbers. So just again, some rules to keep in mind when we're dealing with numbers in a sentence. You need to spell out any numbers that can be written in 1 or 2 words. So typically anything from 1 to 100 is spelled out, while over 100, like 101, 102, that kind of thing, those are written numerically. Okay, so these would be the numerals. Everything under 100 is written out. You also want to spell out any numbers that begin a sentence, even if they're super long. So here would be an example. $550 was found on the street. Since it starts the sentence, you want to spell it all the way out. Whereas if it were in the middle of the sentence, you could just use numerals to represent it. If there are, I'm sorry, people are making noises outside. If there are more than one numbers in a series of items, all of them should be written the same way. So here's an example. The movie theater sold 127 tickets, 64 tickets, 17 tickets. So since we have a list of items that all contain numbers, they all have to be the same way. Okay, if they were written out, yeah, which this one's written out. Okay, so if 2 of the 3 are written out, then the third one should be written out as well. So just make sure you're being consistent with whatever your listing does, and that kind of goes along with parallelism as well. You also want to use numerals, so like writing the actual number, not spelling out the number, but writing the number for all of the following things. You want to use numerals when you're doing dates, okay, so like January 1st, 2013. You want to use numerals when you're doing a time of day, unless you use the word o'clock, then you want to spell it out. So for example, if we're doing kind of like an obscure time of day, like school gets out at 3:20, then you want to use the numerals. But if you use o'clock, then you want to spell out like 12 o'clock. You also want to use numerals for addresses. So like the address of O'Gorman is 3201 South Kiwanis Avenue. You use numerals for that. You also use numerals for percentages. Now this one does have an exception to this rule. So you always include the percentage sign unless you're spelling it out. So like if you have the option, if let's say instead of a percentage sign here, it literally said the word percent, then you would need to spell out 70. Okay, so again, if you've got the symbol here, then you can use the numerals, but if the word percent is spelled out, then you want to spell out the number as well. Use numerals when you're talking about money. So you can just do dollar bill 5. Always include the dollar sign, again, unless you're spelling it out. But if you spell out dollar, then you should spell out the number as well. Pages and sections of a book you use the numerals for. So for example, like read chapter 2 for tomorrow, which includes pages 32 to 43. So anytime you're talking about chapters or page numbers, you can put the numerals. You don't have to spell them out, even though technically it's, a single 1 or 2 word syllable, you just still put numerals for that. And then scores. So like if you're doing the score of a game, you would want to use numerals for that as well. Okay, so we'll do some practice here. So you're trying to find the number error and fix it, and a lot of these only have 1 number error, so it's pretty easy to figure out. So this one, 25,013 hits. 25,013 you would want to do numerals for, since it's more than 2 words to that number. This one, here's an example of that percent that I talked about. So since the word percent is written out, you want to make sure that you write out the word 90. It shouldn't be the numeral, it should be the word 90. And then this one, the error is right here, right? Since we're referring to a page, we can just use the numeral 6. And then this one is the listing of items. So we've got 3 numbers here, 30, 640, 941. So we want to make sure that we use a numeral here. So we should have just the numeral 30. And then this one, we've got the o'clock. So 10 should be written out, TEN. And that's it for numbers. All right, moving on to abbreviations. We are flying through this. Beautiful. So in general, you should avoid abbreviations when you are writing in a formal style, so when you're writing professionally. However, there are 4 exceptions to this rule. So the following 4 ways to do abbreviations are acceptable in formal writing. So the first way you can abbreviate things is titles that are used before and after people's names. So for example, Mrs. Berg and Mr. Heisler are English teachers. Our titles are Mrs. and Mr., so that's okay to abbreviate. Any initials or degrees in a person's name. This kind of goes along with titles after people's name, but I just mushed it into this one as well. So if it has an initial before their name, like C.S. Lewis was a great writer, F. Scott Fitzgerald, that's fine to actually do the initial. And then this one, Dr. Jordan, DC, is a great chiropractor, so that would be an initial after his name or a title after his name. That could fall under category number 1 as well. The third exception for abbreviations is time and date references. So like the PM, you can include that in formal writing. And there's a lot of debate as to whether you keep it lowercase or you capitalize it. Typically when you capitalize AM or PM, you do like tiny capital letters, so it's still the same size as the lowercase. But you always want to include the period in between because it is an abbreviation. So just make sure that, I don't care what you do, if you capitalize it or lowercase it, but just make sure that the periods are in between the A and the M or the P and the M because it is an abbreviation, and periods indicate that there are words being left out. And then date references would be like BC. Okay, so again, you want to put periods between them, and those are always capitalized. And then organizations, agencies, technical words, countries, or other corporations that are known by their initials, it's okay to abbreviate. So for example, we visited the first YMCA built in the USA. So YMCA and USA, those are fine to abbreviate. Just note that usually abbreviations of these types of things, they don't have periods in between them for whatever reason, okay? Okay, so now here's some abbreviation practice. So you're supposed to find and fix the abbreviation error in the sentence. So there are a couple abbreviations in the sentence, right? We've got doctor, YMCA, and then PHILA. Doctor and YMCA are okay abbreviations for formal writing, but abbreviating the name of a city is not. So this is an abbreviation for Philadelphia, which you would want to spell out completely. This one, we have another, 3 abbreviations. We've got Ms., IBM, and then MUN for Monday, and we would want to spell Monday out. The other 2 abbreviations are acceptable in formal writing. Okay, this one, we have 2 abbreviations. We've got AM, and then we've got CA for California. So this AM is obviously fine, but abbreviating California, we would want to spell it out. If we're writing formally, we wouldn't want to abbreviate it. Okay, and that was it for abbreviations. On to homonyms. This is going to be super fast, and I'm not actually going to talk through every slide. I'll let you guys kind of go and look at the notes for this section as needed on your homework because it's pretty straightforward. So all that homonyms are is they're just 2 or more words that have the same sound but are spelled differently and have different meanings. So these are some of the common homonyms, okay? And you guys at this point should know the difference between all of these. Which is why I don't want to spend a lot of time like going through this slide, but I'll touch on just a couple things. So remember, these are both pronouns. So ITS means belonging to. So like the dog put its paw up on the chair, right? This its shows ownership of paw, whereas IT''S is a contraction of it is. So it is so cute when he does that, right? If you can replace this its with it is, you should use that one. And that's what the tip says. You guys should already know that though. Okay, I'm going to just kind of skip through these practices because I feel like they're pretty straightforward. But remember, you can go look at the notes and it'll be in the, look at the Google slide notes and it'll be in the notes section on that slide is where the answer key will be. So there, and there. THEIR there means belonging to them, like that's their taco. It's a possessive. THERE is like a pointy pronoun, like look over there, right? It means in or to that place. It's usually used with is, are, was, were. So the taco stand is over there. Look at that. There it is. That kind of thing. And then THEY''RE, this is a contraction of they are. So they are the best tacos in town. And then I basically give you just the same tip here. There, where, and here all end in er, E-R-E, and all refer to places. But if you can use the word they are in a sentence, then you want to use the contraction there. Practice. Okay, 2, 2, and 2. So to is used before a verb. It's part of an infinitive. So like to serve, to jump, to run, to go. And so as to reach. So like I have to go to the post office. TOO means overly or extremely or also. Okay, so it's interchangeable with the word also. So that was too close. Like that was extremely close, right? She thinks so too, as in also. I feel like this is the one that you guys may be confused the most. And then, of course, we have TWO, which is just the number 2. Oh, this is a good tip, actually. So TOO has an extra O, which is extremely over the top and also overly dramatic. See what I did there with the definition? Okay, so that's how you can kind of remember how to use TOO. And the last one that I'm going to touch on is your and your. So YOUR just means belonging to. So it's a possessive. So is that your ice cream, right? You own the ice cream. And YOU'(RE) is a contraction of you are. So there's my tip. And then I have a whole bunch of other common homonyms that you guys might want to take a look at. Okay, and there's a couple slides worth of these. I'm actually going to escape out of this. So you can see there's a couple slides worth. And then I do have a link to a website that has like all of the homonyms listed for you guys. So you can feel free to go check out that website to help you with your homework as well. So speaking of your homework, what you guys have is you've got a Google form worksheet that's posted for you on Classroom. So again, it'll show you all of the answers as you progress through that form. So you guys can kind of see what you get right and what you get wrong. And so you won't have, this one won't be part of your extra credit because it automatically gives you the answers. So just make sure you kind of spend your time on that, understand why you're getting stuff incorrect, and you understand why the correct version is correct. So just make sure that you take a look at that. If you have any questions, make sure to jump on my office hours from 2 to 3 today. I'd be more than happy to talk to you. I miss you guys. Please hop on and talk to me. I'm usually sitting there the whole hour by myself and I get so bored. So please jump on. I'd love to talk to you. The other thing I want to remind you of, your test is going to be on Monday. Yes, we are having a test. So please make sure that you are studying for that. Going through all of the notes is going to be super helpful. I'm trying to post all of your notes and keep up with posting your notes and your worksheets in the grammar section. So the grammar topic of Google Classroom, just so that they're all in one place. So you don't have to keep going back to the e-learning days and looking at that. I'm still trying to clump them all under that grammar topic so that it's in one easy place for you guys to use when you're studying. So make sure you're looking through the notes. Filling out the worksheets again and checking the answer keys is a super easy way for you guys to study for that. It's not going to be hard. Okay, it's all on Google Forms, so it's like all multiple choice. So you guys should be fine. Just make sure you understand all of the concepts pretty well. And then I've got the quote of the day. So the quote of the day today is from Winston Churchill. He was prime minister over in England back in the day. And this quote is very intelligent because he was a very intelligent man. So he says, "Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts." And this one just really resonated with me because I don't know about you guys, but when I found out that we were doing this virtual classroom thing until May, that hit me pretty hard. I'm not going to lie. It was a pretty rough day when I found that out. So I think that this quote is so important for us to kind of keep in mind, right? Maybe some of us are feeling really successful with this e-learning, and maybe some of us are feeling like we're failing a little bit. I know I'm definitely having both moments of success and failure just as we kind of transition in this process. But it truly is the courage to continue that's going to count with all of us. I'm going to continue to be here for you, continue to try to inspire you and get you excited about grammar, even though I'm not face-to-face with you guys. So please just remember to reach out. You know, all of your teachers are here for you. Your friends are still here for you. You know, have a friend Skype date, or what do you guys do now? FaceTime or Snapchat. That's what I was trying. Yeah, FaceTime, Snapchat, whatever. Get together with your friends virtually and have like a game night, or, you know, have coffee or work on your homework together virtually. I know that I'm doing that with my family and my friends as well. I'm trying to talk to somebody every single day. So make sure, get outside, do something that lights your soul on fire. Reach out to friends and family, talk to them, reach out to your teachers if you need extra help, and go do your homework. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good day.